This was the main event right here. Chucky Olives, he came in against Beniel Dariush, and you could tell my man came in with a mentality that I had kind of mentioned in the pre-show, where I said when you taste gold and you get it stripped away from you, you want that more than you originally wanted it. You have a hunger that is unmatched, and it felt like he fought that way against Beniel Dariush from the first moment of the fight. He walked forward, he went juggernaut mode, right? And was just throwing it at Beniel. When it got to the ground, there was a little bit of some, gamesmanship. Beniel trying to throw big ground and pound, believe it or not. What did you make of Chucky Olive's head movement on the ground, bro? He was slipping all those shots. They're saying Beniel was denting the canvas the way that he was throwing those big shots. What did you make of that defense right there?
Slipping the shots is a ballsy move on the ground because your head's right there, bouncing off. But what I liked more too, nonetheless, was he slipping them, but he was also throwing elbows up too and catching Beniel when he was coming in. It was a very, very tactful, smart, precise way that Oliveira was moving, bro. And I mean, we haven't seen that. We've seen one from the ground TKO, and when I forget who it was too, but it's pretty miraculous. More people, it's going to be a thing. You're not just dead to the right, or you're not dead in the water if you're on the ground. At least Charles Oliveira is starting to really prove that going forward.
I think you're thinking of Kevin Holland versus Jacare when he got that amazing hammer fist TKO. But yeah, Charles Oliveira slipping good shots, throwing elbows, tried to go for a heel hook attempt. What was really slick here, man, is that I said Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is more inclined for finishes in MMA, right? Beniel is much more technical, can take you through multiple positions, get out of tricky positions that he shouldn't really be able to get out of. And I think a great example of that is when Charles Oliveira marched him down, threw the right hand through the head kick, rocked him, and then rocked him with the hook to drop him. He ultimately turned over to the back so that he immediately took the arm underneath the chin, turned to the back, and I was like, oh, he's going to choke him. I was like, this is exactly what I thought. He's going to choke Dariush. Statement made. As soon as he gets the arm underneath the neck, Dariush rolls. So what does Charles Oliveira do? He kind of flips his position, and instead of continuously following with that choke, smashes his face in. Done game, man. That's it. That goes to show how dangerous and how on a warpath Charles Oliveira is, man. It felt like there was no regard for his own safety. The way that he went out there saying that I will go out on my shield if need be for this gold is kind of how I expected Aldana to fight, but clearly not, right? So when he fights with this destructive presence, right? Do you think a rematch against Islam Makhachev would be any different from the first fight if he fights the way that he fought against Dariush?
Yes, if he fights the way the Dariush fight went, and especially you juxtapose that to how he underperformed in the Makhachev fight, I think it'll have a different play style, if you will. It'll be played out different. I don't know if the outcome will be different. I don't know if he actually has that necessarily. Islam has a lot of gamesmanship as well, but when Charles Oliveira is fighting that animalistic style, kill or be killed, ready to die on my shield, he leaves himself open. He leaves himself to a little bit more danger, but he also presents more opportunities to finish, which is kind of what you want, man. I mean, this is the game we play. It's about inches. It's about seconds, milliseconds, if you will. And Charles Oliveira, when he's on the right side of it, does very, very well. And it's a formidable force to try and take that from him, because this dude is game and he's mentally there. You can tell he is mentally willing to die in that cage to get what he wants. And you said it yourself, Derek. I mean, I love that. The idea of somebody taking something from you and you having to get it back is such a visceral, such a powerful emotion to a lot of people. That's what it looked like Charles Oliveira was feeling in there.
Yeah, man, and I'll say what was even more impressive about it is that Beniel Dariush the whole time was in the upcoming to this fight better than Charles Oliveira everywhere, man. Everything he does, I don't see anything special, right? But that's what Charles Oliveira does. Is he is that special, right? Most finishes in UFC history with 20. I think he has 19 post-fight bonuses, right? So he's kind of in that camp of just like this dude. You show up when he fights. You watch when he fights. And I think that there's really no other place for him to be. It doesn't make sense for him to fight anybody but the person that holds the belt in this category, in this weight class, in 155 pounds. Chucky Olives, Du Bronx. Listen, man, fantastic victory. Last question, then we'll move past this one. Beniel Dariush, man, I said it in the pre-show, and this is the worst thing that I want to be correct about. But sometimes you overcome every hill, every obstacle, every odd that goes your way, and then you come up to that ceiling that we mentioned, and Chucky Olives does appear to be that ceiling. Beniel Dariush should have gotten a title opportunity multiple fights ago. He had to string together 8, and now he loses. So I'm going to bring this question back that I already posed last show. Beniel Dariush does he not hang into the consideration of a title challenger at this point? Does he go back to the end of the queue and have to fight his way all the way back up again, even though he never got the title shot in the first place? What do you think?
Do I want that to happen, dude? Do I want Beniel Dariush to have to go back and be relegated to the bottom 10 and have to fight and claw his way back to the top? No, Derek, and I don't think he deserves that either. Do I think that's going to happen to him? Probably, especially because he's not the most vocal. He doesn't have the biggest draw. Yeah, all the fans came out of the woodwork. We talked about that on the pre-show. All the Benny fans came out of the woodwork for this fight, and you'd love to see it. You appreciate it. But I don't think they're going to be there clamoring for him now that he's lost that fight. And I do think, me personally, he's still that top 3 fighter. There's a lot of fighters in him he can get past, but I agree that ceiling is there. And I hope he doesn't get relegated to the bottom. Do you think they'll do him dirty and put him and to have him claw his way back up to the top, Derek?
Yeah, and I think it's partially his fault just because one of the biggest clips that they kept playing on this pay-per-view, like the little promo for it, was him saying, I don't care how many people I have to fight. If I have to fight another 10 guys and win to get to the belt, that's what I'll do. And it's like, you shouldn't say that because they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Well, we'll give you another 10 guys, right? You should be like, I want that belt now. Give me the belt now. You know what I mean? Either way, we know Beniel Dariush is still going to be a dark horse in this division, and anybody ranked 2 and lower, got to watch out for this guy, you know what I mean? Because he's going to give you real problems. Big win to Charles do Bronx Oliveira. We will see if he will claim gold here in the future once again to become a 2-time lightweight champion.